Hey guys, what's up? So let's do a quick recap on the recent official server patch, starting with the buffed heroes. First is the buff on Alpha. He has a new passive where if Alpha attacks a target with 2 stacks, Beta will follow up with true damage. And you can activate it with basic attacks or skills as long as the marks are there. Another update is Beta's conversion to true damage. All of Beta's attacks will be true damage and that means all of his skills are affected. Jungler Alpha anyone? Next, we have Bane. His passive skill will now deal damage based on the enemy's maximum HP. First skill now has a higher damage output but with a slightly longer cooldown. His second skill will now scale better with his missing HP. And because of these changes, he can now equip defense items instead of the usual full damage build. Next is Minotaur. They removed his rage bar, allowing him to enter enraged state immediately. No need to charge, just like this. And with it comes a longer ultimate cooldown. He also has a new passive where if he applies crowd control to an enemy, their defense will go down. And if he heals an ally, their defense goes up. The effects are doubled in enraged state. And because of the new passive, they removed the attack speed reduction on his first skill and the attack speed buff on his second skill. If you want a new tank, go practice Minotaur now. Next is Silvanna. They adjusted the pull direction of her second skill toward her lance. And Flicker can now be used for her ultimate just like this. Next is the buff on Gatotkaca. There's now a slight dash toward his target when performing his enhanced basic attacks. Is this enough to save him from his low usage rate? Next, we have Phoveus. His ultimate now has a faster animation at the start of the skill. This means it's easier to land his ultimate. Next is Carmilla. They increased the slow effect and immobilized duration of her ultimate. To balance, they had to increase the cooldown by a few seconds. Next is Guinevere. Her first skill and ultimate damage are adjusted so that she can equip defense items. They fixed this by increasing the base damage and lowering the magic scaling of her first and ultimate skill. Maybe you can start going for a balanced build with Guinevere. Next is Uranus, a slight upgrade on his first skill damage. Upon checking, only the base damage is increased though. Next is the buff on Hylos. His first skill will now boost his movement speed and the next basic attack can stun the enemy. His ultimate will now apply a stronger slow effect upon hitting enemies. Skill 2 damage is lowered in the late game and minus 200 points on his base HP. Next is the improvement on Paquito's skills. He can now hit enemies easier when repeatedly using skills. Based on your earlier comments, it's about his double ultimate combo. Next is Terizla. His first skill has a weaker slow effect, but the duration now lasts longer. And his ultimate is now easier to cast near walls. And that's it for the buffed heroes. Now let's move on to the nerfed. First is Arlott. Lower base damage and heal effect on his second skill. I think this one is just fair. Next is Joy. Lower movement speed on her passive, weaker shield in the early game, and a longer cooldown on her ultimate. Next is Faramis. They lowered the defense from his first skill, and his ultimate will now give less HP, and it now has a longer cooldown in the late game. Next is Kimmy. They lowered the base and scaling damage of her first skill because she is overperforming with the right equipment. Next is Lapu-lapu. They lowered the damage reduction he gets from his enhanced second skill from 15 down to 10% per hit. Next is Valentina. She will now copy the cooldown of the ultimate she steals, and there is a bit of additional cooldown in the early levels. Next is Kaja. They increased the maximum stacks of its passive from 4 to 8, and they also increased its duration by 1 second. The nerf is on his stacks where it is lowered to 3% each. What it means is that you'll need more time to apply more stacks on the enemy. Next is Pharsa. They increased the cooldown of her special skill by adding 7 seconds. Last one is Gloo. The damage reduction from each stack is reduced from 8 down to 6% per stack. There's also an adjustment on the gold distribution. Junglers will now get more gold from creeps, while the gold lane siege minion will decrease. The developer said marksmen were farming too fast, creating a big gap with the junglers. That's why they had to make these changes. Next are the item update. Golden Staff is nerfed by 5 points of physical attack. Demon Hunter Sword is also nerfed with a lower HP based damage. They added 5 points of physical attack on War Axe. Cursed Helmet and Molten Essence will now deal less damage in the early game against minions and jungle creeps. Last one is the new shop called Power Crystal, where you can exchange your magic dust and fragments for some candy. So what can you say about the update? Do you agree with the nerfed heroes? Share your thoughts in the comment section. That's all for this video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.